Orale, what's good with it in the hood with it? As you can tell right here, new setup till you're fed up. Now that's hard, right? And I'm gonna make the profiles go boom, 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 homeboy. I said boom, boom, boom. Now you ask yourself, Gunner, why are you looking like you're from Juarez? Or you're looking like a Cuban national? But at the same time, I'm getting ready to go somewheres. So I had to throw the fitted on to get released on. And it ain't nothing to it but to do it. I'm gonna get my mind right and definitely shine right. The tortas better be ready. Said the guy that spread all the confetti. Now, trip out, what I wanted to talk about is Texas. Orale, Texas. Chingo, blingy, todo my. Texas, Raza. Now, when it comes to Texas, man, you know, you think about a lot of Raza, Tejanos, separate themselves from Chicanos, but it's the same damn thing. In a menudo style or direct fashion, I said it's the same damn thing. Now, one thing I will say for sure is Tejanos wiggle different. They got a different stilo, a different brand, a different way of movement. But that doesn't mean they're less Mexicano or less Chicano than myself or you. Now, in a real fashion, these vatos move. And I've been to Texas plenty of times. San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, everywhere. All through up and down. Orale, Dallas, Corpus Christi, the Gulf. And I can tell you one thing for sure, and these are actuals, factuals. Them vatos in Texas, they're about the business. Now, a lot of vatos get at me, a lot of gente from Texas, they say, Gun, you never do a spill on Texas. You never give us our shine. You never give us our get down. You never let us know what's really happening. I said, what's happening? Today is that day. Now, the first time I went to Texas, I went to go visit my primo. And I got a primo out of San Antonio. I got a couple primos out of San Antonio. One on my jefa side, one on my jefito side, and it's like the Hatfields and the McCoys. They don't know each other, and they probably don't want to see each other. But at the same time, in the meantime, in between time, they're all good gente. And I went to go visit my primo, and that's the first time I ever really got to sit down in Texas and see what it was all about. The food, the tortas, bomb, right? One thing I can say is it's very different from a Califa swag, from the way we move and groove. They got a different flavor. Now, you can see with these young rappers in Texas, it's a little bit different, gente. It's a lot of bit different. In fact, you know, they got more of that Bay Area swag. They got a twang to their voice. They stay cornrow, braided up. You can see Peso Peso right there on the thumbnail. And their lowriders are just a different breed. They move on swangers. They're those rims that stick out. Thank you. We don't do that. We're slow and low, dropping on some old school Dayton's, 100 spokes, McLean's, or my favorite Zeniths. You know what it is. But at the same time, there's so much historia and cultura in Texas, you can't deny. It'd be a bad thing to deny what the Raza's got going on. One thing I could say, the difference between the Raza in Texas and us is they are more ingrained with their Mexicano roots. A lot of the colores that they display, that what I've seen, it's all Mexican flag colors. They're on the frontera in El Paso, and they represent Mexico. They represent Texas. They're real big on Texas. Everything's big in Texas, that's including me. With my people, when I was big, I was swinging. I was on swangers. That's only one, but I was living though. I kept it clean. Now, trip out. The vatos in Texas definitely are different, but at the same time, I was used to that swag just being in the valley and always going to the Bay Area, having family and friends in the Bay. I mean, it didn't look no different. The only difference that I recognized was the way that their territories, hoods, waters, and gangs were set up. Now, there's several local gangs and several known gangs that are different from California, but different states mean different things are great. You know, they don't identify. One thing I can say about Texas is they're not trying to latch on to what Califas brings. See, there's a lot of states that if vatos from myself, okay, if I want to set up shop, I could do that. If vatos from Califas go in and they set up, I look like a boss, don't I? Pensa. Let me look at myself one time. Damn, I'm a narcissist, they say. But I'm not. Right now, trip out. Oh, Suge Knight. If you went to Texas, you wouldn't be, it wouldn't be easily able for you to set up shop, meaning set up a water or a hood. You know, for some reason or another, Texas and California, there's a great divide. Now, I know there's a lot of love back and forth. You know, you got Goto's out there he established in Houston. He's bringing all the rappers together, signing them left and right. And he brings that California Bay Area swag, that Northern Cali kick it thing. But at the same time, Texas is always going to be their own entity. They're always going to be their own state. And they're first and foremost Tejas. Now, that doesn't mean they're not brown, because they are brown and proud. In fact, their people, I like the way the rhythm is a little bit more than Califas. Because one thing I can say about Califas is we've always been about division, whether it be north and south, the northern half of the state, the southern half of the state. Who's better? I'm better. You're better. We're all better. Orale, sprinkle the woods in, brother. No, we're better. Right? And that's just how it is. There's always been division amongst gangs, vatos, and hoods. Everybody's primera. Everybody's first, and they're willing to put their people first and foremost. And that right there, gente, is a horrible thing, because what happens is it causes division, it causes friction, it causes vatos to get decapitated. And we don't need that in our lives. Texas, they do have a history of beef. They do have vato warfare. Their gangs are pretty violent and vigilant, but at the same time, they do it because of different reasons. It's not because of North and South. Now, there are Southsiders as well as Norteños established in certain parts of Texas. Don't get it twisted. Worldwide, said the guy that did the glide, right? But at the same time, they're not the dominant groups. The dominant groups being the Texas Syndicate, Tango Blast. If you ain't blasting, you ain't lasting. I've done a spill on them. If you don't know, now you know. And if you didn't, well, get with it, you know? Straight up. I'm trying to rap and rhyme, and at the same time, never drop a dime. You feel that? Don't do coca. Don't do that line. Now, trip out. Spencer, a vato like myself, pulling up to Texas, I was unaware of what the wiggle was, and I got ran up on. And here's that story, gente. So I pulled up with my primo, San Antonio, and what I didn't know is there was a gang that was pretty dominant in the San Antonio area, Raza, and they were the Tango Orejones. Now, the Tango Orejones are a clique based off Tango Blast. You know, there's the Blast, there's the Orejones. They're their own clique out of San Antonio. And I didn't understand the situation there. See, they have a lot of Playboy bunnies as their symbolism. It seems like the Playboy bunny is the symbol for everything, yes, nowadays. All the way from a hoe to a motherfucker that knows. But I don't know. At the same time, shout out to the Playboy bunnies, Tres out of LA. Anyways, trip out. They display the Playboy bunny and several other symbolisms of Texas and San Antonio. So I went to a store with my primo, and we went to a bigger supermarket. It wasn't like it was a local supermarket, not like one of the big ones like Food for Less or Albertsons and things of that nature that we're used to in Cali, you know, Lucky's, old school, who remembers that? None of that, right? It was more like a Vons, or I don't know what it was. But anyways, we wiggled over there, and I seen a vato with a big old Playboy bunny on his face. Now, automatically, I assumed he was a Southsider or a Northern Rider, because you got to understand, at this particular time, this was only a few years back, I knew what the wiggle was with these guys, and I got, damn, these vatos are everywhere, see? Guard, right? So I approached him. I approached him in the only manner that I could, which was respectful. I said, hey, homie, where you from? I don't know how respectful that was, but that's the way I came at him, and I approached him. And he was like, Orejones, Cubo, right? And when he said that, he said rabbits. I was like, okay, I know you got a rabbit on your face, but what I'm saying, to what degree of rabbit do you have? Is that a jackrabbit, or is that a, you know, the ones with the Cadbury bunny? I don't know. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, at the same time, it's I need to know. I want to know. I want to know. I wanted to know because I wanted to know if I was going to get shot in the back of the head twice. And then he explained to me, I'm from Tango Orejones, whoop-de-whoop, San Antonio. Oh, okay. And I had seen him on, I think it was National Geographic, in between the lions eating the tigers. Oh, my, right? And I said, okay, there. I know who you guys are. I've seen a documentary on you guys. That's right, homeboy. Respects. And at that time, I said, hey, I'm I used to be a Norteño, but I'm not anymore. See, I don't gangbang. Vato was like, look, I don't care about none of that. Trip out. Hey, it's all good in the hood. And he goes, hey, my body was right up out of here. You know what I mean? And he knew my primo. It's a trip. He and him knowing my primo. They got to chop it up. Well, they didn't know him personally, but he knew people that knew him. They knew the same people. So he told my primo, he said, hey, let's go party. Kick it. We're all getting pistol right now. We're going to my pad. I said, man, we're going to get killed around this cat. My primo said, nah, these guys are cool. As long as you're not the enemy of them, as long as you're not over here trying to fly colors or step on what they got going on, they're Raza, homeboy. And I said, well, shit, and I get where you go. I ain't never been scared before in my life. But at the same time, I've been aware, right? Anyways, we wiggled over there. And I'm going to say I knocked one of the baddest tortas. You think, is good? You ain't seen nothing in the hood. This chick right here was different. She hit different. She was smooth. She was different. Anyways, we wiggled over there, and they were cool vatos. And I got the rundown on a lot of the intricacies and details of their gang that I can't put out there because I haven't asked permission to. But one thing I will say for sure, them vatos have their own wiggle. Now, I have seen a documentary on them on National Geographic, or I don't know what channel that was, ID channel, but I seen it. And they showed them to be a rather rambunctious group. Now, they were youngsters. The guy that we ran into, he was a little younger than me, maybe 10, 15 years. But they were youngsters that we partied with and kicked it. When I say youngsters, everyone over the age of 21, babosos. Don't make a video about me. Bang, bang. Anyways, they kicked it, we kicked it, it was all good. One thing I could say I loved about Texas, and I've been there many times, man, I visit homeboys in Houston all the time, is every different part of Texas moves differently. You see, it's different. in sections. Not like in California. You got Southern California, they got that Southern California swag. You got the Bay moves like the Bay does. You got the Valle, well, hey, calle, don't talk on us, right? We're just going to do how he does. In the San Joaquin Valley, then of course you got San Fernando Valle, then of course you got the San Gabriel Sul Gangster Valle. Everybody got their own little area and everybody moves according to the agenda of their program. But one thing I will say that's facts is that's how we do it. It's all a California thing, baby. At the end of the day, Texas, it's a Texas thing, but first and foremost, it's a parte thing, meaning each part moves differently. Fence on my mic, it's in the way. We'll get with it. So now, you say to yourself, Gunner, why don't you ever do too many videos about the Raza in Texas? And one thing I can say is, I don't live there to know the details of everyday living. But from what I've seen, I love it. You know, there's a lot of love and respect I have because I love the people that push for the people, by the people. You know, if you look at my thumbnail right there, Peso is doing a lot of representation of the Mexicano flavor. It's always Mexican flavor first and foremost. They know where they come from, and I respect that. Another rapper up out of there is the Mexican OT. He makes sure that he incorporated Mexicano into his name because that's his roots, that's his cultura. He's clechad up enough to know that's his people where he's derived from. It's Texas all day, every day, but in the beginning it was Mexico. Bang, bang. Don't forget about the Alamo. We did that, right? Now, one thing is facts, factual. You do have some riffraff up out of Texas. SPM, you're a baboso, right? We're just going to say that right off the top. And anyone that chooses to protect them and defend them and whatever, homes, be mad at me all you want. I don't care, see, I'm from Cali, you're from Texas. You can make it that type of thing, but it is never going to be. Because I'll do anything for Salinas. Now, you got to understand that artists and people that come from Texas, they have a different type of flavor, a different type of movement. I don't know what it is in the water there, but I know that the people are very peaceful until you aggravate them or until you get in the wrong area, in the wrong mix. It's just like every other state or city and any other barrio in the whole world. It's that if you overstep your boundaries and you disrespect someone, they're going to bop you. One time with the bop going, one nation under a group. That's just how it is. And that's what it be like. So don't ever think that you're going to roll up in Texas, man, and just try to incorporate and indoctrinate these youngsters or these people with your clutch on your mentality without having and paying homage and respect to the great state of Texas because they move different. Now, with all this stuff that went on recently between Mr. Capone, you know, con Camel, and of course, SPM, right? This dude right here, Holmes, is different. SPM, you know how I feel about him. We don't even want to go to the details of woofing on this guy because it is what it ain't and it ain't what it is, right? But one thing is facts. That is not a California-Texas beef. That is a personal beef. That is not even Capone's beef from what I heard. That's someone else's beef and it got put on his plate. So at the end of the day, I'm going to move that away when I talk about this. I'm noticing a lot of collaboration between California artists and Texas artists. I'm talking about hip-hop, the rap game, the Raza thing. Because remember, the Raza is opening doors for each other. We're making things happen. We're starting to conform to the realities of professionalism, respect, and gangsterism. We're getting it. But one thing I know is facts. We wouldn't get it without the help of each other. Whether it be California, Texas, Denver, New Mexico, Arizona, all these southwestern states up to the Pacific Northwest and even back onto the East Coast, man. We all need each other as people to help and uplift each other. That's why I'm so adamant and the Raza is all the same. We might dress a little different. We might think a little different. The tortas might even hit different. But at the end of the day, they're all the same. We are all the same. We're brown and we're proud. We come from warriors, I say. We come from brown people. Our culture is beautiful. Grasp it, embrace it, love it, sprinkle the woods in because they're the ones that are right here too, brother. Right? And just understand that as people, black, brown, white, green, I don't care what you are. If you're from the planet Mars and you look like a zoo, you got a big head. It is what it is, man. We're going to stay here. We're established. Our flag is planted and we ain't going nowhere. And Texas, stand up, rise up, man, because I got a lot of respect for the Texas Raza. I made this video simply because of this. Texas is no different from anywhere else other than they do their thing. Okay? Every place has differences, but every place is with that movement. If you're brown, you're going to do brown things. Tortillas, frijoles. Man, New Mexico, their chile is different. But everything else is the same, gente. Spensa Latina. For those that got in my DMs from Texas that woofed on me, or from those that got in my DMs from Texas that asked about why I don't do spills on Texas. I ain't been there many times, but the times I have been there, it's been nothing but love. Did I get run up on by anyone from Texas? Yes, and that's a different story for a different spill. But it all ended up kosher like a pickle. Let's say it was all good in the hood. Speaking of pickles, I adjusted. Now I'm back like a heart attack, and I'm going to make stuff happen. So one thing I want to say for sure is respect, peace, utmost to all the Raza from Texas. Are they different from Califas? A little bit. Not a lot, a bit of a little bit. A little bit. Guard! They're a little different. Just a little bit. They got a different twang. They got a different swang, homeboy. But we all got that brown side bang. And you know what it is? Shout out to the great state of Texas. Respects first and foremost. It ain't never going to stop. Now, if you guys like the new setup, let it be known. If you don't, you want me to get to regular scheduled program where I'm sitting in front of a couple computers with a fake background, then we can do all that. But I'm doing it like a boss. They say, watch out. Damn, she's bad. Tortas all over the place. If you guys only knew what was on the other side of this computer. Shh, something about the West Coast. Damn, girl. Don't tell nobody. Orale, tortas gone wild. You know what it is? This is the gun. We're going to move and groove, and that's how we do it. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Shout out, respects to Texas. Just was a little thing just to put out. Nothing but Texas thing, man. California, Texas, united, divided, we ride it. They can't stop us, homeboys. They can't stop the Raza. You know, we're coming. I mean, we're really coming. Bang, bang. With that being said, I hope that you move smooth with a purpose. Get every single thing that you want coming to you. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about struggling and striving for your familia, for your people, for your gente, for our brown people. We got to do it. If it takes me to say it over and over again, well, then that's just what I'm going to do. Spence on la tira. Guard. I don't care if you like it or not. That's it. We're locked up. Even we're out. We're deep. Bang, bang. Get behind me. Get behind me. And you know what it is. If you like this, hit a like and subscribe with a thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that, wait up. I ain't wearing no crown. Bang, bang. Didn't think I'd do it bald? I cut my hair and said, it is what it is. Shout out, respects to all the gente. You know what I'm here for, to bring everyone together. Let's do it to it, man. Raza, stand up. Bang, bang. And in that fashion.